Hi, I'm Devon with Cillessen Construction Company. We're here today to show you one of our hail inspections on a project of ours. A lot of people get intimidated filing a claim and don't know really where to start. So that's where we come in. We wanted to kind of show you our full inspection process. A lot of people want to look at just the roof. We want to look at everything from the ground up. So we're starting up here on the roof. This one's a little different because it's tile. As you can see, when we're walking through here, a lot of times insurance companies say hail can't damage tile, which is very incorrect. They try to say it's expansion and contraction or installation error. So when I come up here, one of the first things I want to look at is if the soft metals are damaged. As you can see here, there's damage all throughout here. This house actually got hit by 2-inch hail 2 years ago. So as you can imagine, that's gonna damage a lot of stuff. So when you go through here, you can see a lot of the cracks throughout the tiles, a lot of the corners. You have some field cracks up here. Over here, it actually shattered 2 tiles, and then some of these chalk lines that the adjuster pointed to are cracks throughout the roof. What's cool about this roof is because it's 20 years old, it's a discontinued tile. So they discontinued this, so we're not able to get it anymore. Now, insurance companies can say, oh, maybe go to a salvage yard, but they had a new roof that's insured, so they have to bring it to pre-loss condition, which is a new tile. So that being said, if insurance has to cover a couple tiles, they unfortunately are liable under most policies and most conditions to cover the whole roof. So the next thing we want to look at is the gutters. So obviously you can see all the hail hits, which warrants for full replacement of the gutters wherever they are damaged. A lot of insurance companies are actually switching to cosmetic clauses in their policies. So make sure you check what your clause is, because if that's the case, then insurance doesn't have to cover anything that just has a dent in it that actually isn't a functional damage. This homeowner fortunately does have a clause where they will be covered. So this is also one of the things we're gonna make sure is in the estimate for the insurance company. So now we're down to the lower level. This was a pretty heavy storm, so it damaged a lot of the siding and windows. If you come here and look at this window, it did break the glass. Insurance is gonna pay just to get your glass repaired. But this one actually has a half chip into the frame. So they're gonna have to pay to replace this entire window. One of the things we always wanna make sure insurance covers too, when this window was originally installed, it was installed with a nail flange behind here. So to properly install it like it was before the storm, we have to pull off the siding around it and actually do a nail flange install like it originally was. So not only this window was damaged, you also have both those, but it's the same scenario with that. Now we look at the siding. As you can see, there's siding splits and all over. It looks like you got shot with a shotgun. What's interesting about this siding though is insurance technically is only liable to pay a lot of times for what's damaged. But under this scenario, they actually don't have a moisture barrier behind it. It's just sheathing, as you can see. So if we're to replace this, insurance is gonna want us to bring it up to code, which means we need to put a moisture barrier behind here. When we do that, we're gonna have to go around the whole elevation and start tearing into a lot more siding, which fortunately insurance covers if you have code coverage. So make sure you have code coverage. All right, so we're on the left elevation now of the house. One of the things that we see here is the siding's damaged also here. We have some hail damage here on the siding. Here, very minute things, but obviously does need to be replaced and also protected. So then we go into the back elevation. We always wanna look at their units to see if it needs a recomb from any of the hail damage on here, which obviously it does. And then the backside didn't get as much damage. And then this was the only window that we saw had frame damage right up in this corner. So again, we'll go for full replacement on this window. This window does have damage, but it's actually to the glazing bead. So it's not as big of a deal as a frame. It's very easy to replace and a lot cheaper. So that's all that would need to be replaced on that portion. And then this right side, the only damage that we saw is this upper window, again with glazing bead. Siding held up here. Last thing we want to look at is this fence. As you can see, it's spattered with holes all through it. So insurance is liable to pay for this fence coverage. And then also if you ever have personal property, pots, toys, anything in your backyard that does get damaged, don't throw it away. Insurance will make sure to cover it. So get a log of everything that is damaged and they'll cut you a check. All right, so we're done with our inspection now on this property. What's crazy is when the insurance first came out here, all they paid for was some siding repairs. And then upon our inspection, we found roof damage, gutter damage, window damage, siding damage, a little bit of paint and fence damage. So hopefully by the end of this project, he's gonna have a whole new exterior on his property. Don't be scared of the big bad insurance companies. That's what we're here for. Hopefully this insurance claim that you may go through will be a blessing in disguise.